blossom, we already know that Kramnik is nearly there. So they're repeating this line, Ken, of the Alapin, which again has not been at all successful for Martinez. So let's see how.
Yeah, it's not how I play the Alapin. I used to play it.
92 is slightly different, I think, already. Doesn't look at all threatening, though, does it?
Oh, sorry, I'm clicking the game with Hikaru's commentary. Yeah, I don't play Bishop C4 there, so never mind.
Yeah.
So,
Ken, I mean, it's such a bizarre opening to play because you've got to know this inside out to really get anything, in my opinion. I mean, you really, and instead, I mean, look how easy it is for black to play E6, Bishop G4, and as white, you're the one who're like, do I go B3? Do I go D3? Do I go D4? Do I go F3? You've got all of these choices.
I played D4 early. Yeah, what was told when I played in the 1978 U.S. Championship, I was known for not studying chess. I was interested in academics and playing bad openings. But the people said, hey, that Alapin you use is a good opening. You shouldn't have shied away from it. I did beat Leonid Chankovich with it in round 1. But anyway, still, so when I see the Alapin misplayed on move 4, anyway, okay.
Yeah. Well, look, we've got a rather unusual position because the queen is on E1 and the knight is on G3. I still fail to believe that. Yeah, bishop takes A3 looks actually totally reasonable here. B takes A3. Okay, white has got the 2 bishops, but they're not activated. Yeah, D3's weak, of course. I'm not quite sure the best way for black to proceed here. It's not totally obvious to me.
H5?
Yeah, that's one of the moves that definitely look reasonable. I think he'll play it, actually. It feels like a Vladdy sort of move, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. The hand is hovering. No, he decides just to castle. Of course, totally reasonable. Now, Queen E4 looks like a sensible move to my eyes here, threatening the bishop and threatening mate, kind of trying to force the trade of queens on your terms.
Yeah.
And then maybe you take back with the bishop. Okay, he goes A4, also very reasonable. Clearly looking to use the B file and activate that bishop. Rook B1 looks very sensible indeed.
Liquidate the bad pawn. Now queens come off.
Mm-hmm. And what's the idea now? G6
has a time advantage.
G6. That looks gnarly.
Well, yeah, you want to play bishop F5. Obviously, it's bishop.
Yeah.
Bishop was trapped on G4. That's why I wanted to play H5, H4 to liberate. Actually, maybe H5 was tactically questionable because of H3 back then, but in any event, now you've made F5 as a landing square. Can you go knight E4 here, bishop F5, and then G4? Is that a ridiculous idea? No, that makes sense to me. Although, however you slice and dice it, I think we're going to have 2 knights against 2 bishops.
Yeah.
Or 2 knights against a bishop and a pawn on C1.
Well, that bishop is a pawn at the moment, but it's got chances. He goes F3. He goes this way, so he decides to go the 2 bishops route this way. Mm-hmm. He takes F5. But how do you ever just get these guys into play here? I mean, tough position. Rook B5, maybe. Rook B5 here.
Well, obviously, one is hoping to play bishop A3, but you have to play king F2, E1 to make that work.
He does go rook B5 and trade.
Okay, good idea for white. I didn't see that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was good because now at least now you can now go G3 stopping knight F4, but you've got ideas now of activating finally the bishop on A3, and I think this has been good for Martinez. I like how this has progressed for him. I still think black is fine, but I think this is okay, basically.
Black is not able to get a knight into d3 easily. That's a key point.
Correct.
You want to play knight c7, a6, c5, but it's going to take time.
Correct.
Or e6, d7, c5.
Bishop finally does come to a3.
Yeah.
And now rook d5 preventing a5, because that was in the air as well, because the e7 square was available. So a5 was maybe a nuisance.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is what to do now. h5. Yeah, well, tricky position to play on, with just a minute or so on the clock here.
One very practical thing is Jose had a time advantage 2 minutes to 1:30. Now
Correct.
He's down 40 seconds on the clock, and that's significant in a position like this. 30 seconds on the clock. Yeah.
Certainly is. What about just rook a5 here? Or is that just too elementary? Just saying, I want to win the pawn on a4. What am I supposed to do against rook a5?
Good question. Well, yeah, good question. The knight on c6 holds everything together.
He goes g5.
Ooh,
Very committal.
No, not do that. Expand those bishops. Oh no.
But
go h4. Wow, this is if I had the two bishops against two knights, I do this. So we can have okay. Oh no.
gf4. Look at this. Just complete insanity. King f3.
Oh, now you got the knight to e5 to d3 though. There was that point.
Yeah.
So
you can still
that's
do something similar.
Now you want to play knight d7 and the other knight to e5. Let's see. I mean, our friend the eval bar is liking white, so all that I would have said when I was saying even without the eval bar. Okay, so e5 to d3 happens right away.
And
Black now at least has some solidity, but
but there's a knight d5 almost mating net. If the king was on g6, knight d5 would be mate.
Right.
So rook e7 check you can't play because king, well, you can maybe, but says white is doing great, but 20 seconds for José Martinez. Yeah. He decides just to take the pawn.
17 seconds on the move, yeah. Rook, white black doesn't have the knight on c6 anymore. That was the key linchpin.
Yes.
But d5, okay, that's a good square. Guards f6 and e7.
But the bar is saying it's just over.
Play h5. Oh, ooh.
Oh, hated that move.
Yes, h5 was good.
Rook f3 maybe? What has he done? Oh, he just takes on d2. He's just blundered the d2 pawn. Yes. And he can't go rook takes c4 because of knight e3 check. Whoa, bishop d4. It's so close. Rook d3. This is a disaster for Martinez. 3 seconds left. Yeah. King g4. You could take on c3, and now you're just free rolling this position as black. What an utter catastrophe for Martinez here.
White's h4 never moved, and he's down to 3 seconds. This is toast. Very easy to play.
c2, and that's it. And you can't escape the check. And that, ladies and gentlemen, that is almost a clincher. That is
needs 4 wins on the trot.